Hey, thanks for joining me. Got kind of a random one to throw up today, just as a little extra. A couple days ago, as of this recording, I reviewed this book right here, this comic, and I'm zoomed in on it closer than I normally would be, but there's a reason for that. You'll see here in a second. But Evangeline, and drawn by artist John Stinsman. And I've reviewed a couple of books that he's done some months ago, maybe even a year ago, something like that. I had a guy sell me a whole lot of Evangeline comics, and that for real cheap, a whole pile of them for not a lot of money. So I've got a pile of these books. I've kind of misplaced them in the. If you could see behind me in the pile of shit I got in my little quote unquote art studio thing here. It's such a disaster. The more I do these videos and the comics keep piling up and I keep trying to keeping them sorted. Whatever, fuck it. Anyway, point being, they got a lot of books by Stinsman. And I've done a few of the books on there, and I did this one. And I try to make sure that when I do these videos, especially now, when I first started, I wasn't particularly concerned about what I said or how I said, because no one was ever going to be listening to me in the first place. So who gives a shit? I'm like, I just got to be honest, because what the hell difference does it make? And I honestly still feel like that's the approach I need to take. I haven't. I was never specifically like a huge fan of Stinsman's work when I was younger. I didn't collect it intentionally, or I didn't collect it specifically. There was one or two things I think I picked up, but it was never anything that really stood out to me just because of the time, the character. Just didn't interest me necessarily. But you get later on in life, and you start looking at things with a different eye. And I get a channel where I actually have people that actually listen to me. I've grown significantly, and I've had the good fortune of having to have some to meet some creators through my channel by text messages privately, some comments on my videos, and meeting people privately. When I put up this video, Mr. Stinsman himself, he left a comment, and basically just saying, like, he's like, hey, I love it when you review my book on the channel, my 30-year-old work. He left a comment, and I thought that was really awesome to have the guy reach out. And then of course I'm like, oh God, was I too harsh on the art? Was I being my normal douchebag self? And I don't think I was, but he took it in great stride. So I messaged him privately, and just to kind of hit him up and be like, hey man, I'm so glad that you saw my my video, and thanks for commenting. And he was really nice. He kind of just said thanks and kind of told me a little bit about what he thought about the comic at the time, and et cetera, et cetera. And then he kind of said, hey, I did a personal creator-owned book called Scarlet Crush, that he was like, hey, if you ever happen to find that, that'd be fun to see you do a comment, do a video on it. So I went out and sought it out, and I've got it on the way. It's coming, and I'll get it here hopefully within a week or so. So it was nice to meet the fella a little bit. We chatted back and forth a little bit, and I was like, yeah, I'll do a video on it. It'll be awesome. And he's like, just remember, you take it easy on 30 years ago, the art that I'm like, I get it. You know what I mean? But I can't wait to see that. So then I go and follow his social medias, and I get to look in and follow his, Instagram and Facebook, and some he didn't bring up to me, which, I mean, why would you? This wasn't the time or place. We were just chit chatting. But something I wanted to bring to people's attention. I wanted to, hopefully, this is not out of line, or not something that is in bad form, but it is public. And, everyone's going through hard times. There's, in varying ways and varying degrees, there's hard times, there's difficult things that everyone's going through. The modern day world has got some weird shit going on in the country. People are divided. Times are tough for a lot of people. Some people are kind of making it, but some people are in positions where things are kind of difficult. And some people end up in positions where things are really tough and they have to ask for assistance. And that's tough for anybody. I know there's been several creators out there recently, like Steve Rude, like a guy who I don't know much about. I've seen his work obviously for years, but He had a post recently on his social medias about having tough times financially, and things were kind of rough. And there was a couple other, I can't think of, there was at least one other name of a professional artist I heard that was having tough times with stuff and asking for assistance from the community out there. And looking around at Mr. Stinsman, and he has a rough situation he's going through, and he's got a spot fund. I've never heard of spot fund, but it's obviously kind of like I don't know. I don't know if a crowdfunder is the quite the correct way to put it, but he's got a thing out there where he's trying to ask for assistance because he's going through a rough time. Now, as I make this video, I have not asked him if this was okay, but it is public, and I couldn't imagine. I mean, I sit here and think about the tough times that people can be going through. And, I have donated. In fact, it actually updated and got my post right there. I have donated there, and it shows publicly people who have joined. Like, look at Carl Alsteader. He donated $1,000. What a great guy. Couple others that are in there. Trying to, there's some folks that have joined in there. Todd Rayner, Carl Alsteader, David Pinner. A couple of names I kind of recognize, and some I don't. But he's got a goal he's trying to reach, and he does list it here. His name is John Stinsman. He's a professional illustrator, comic book artist. Fell in love with art as a child and pursued it as a career when he was 20 years old. He lists here that he's a type 1 diabetic diagnosed late in life, and he's been able to manage it. But, things like that can become difficult. And, he was forced into the ER. As I understand it, as of this recording right now, I believe he's in the hospital. He was admitted to the hospital with pneumonia, diabetic complications, and a dire infection in his lung and leg, which was required the insertion of multiple tubes and minor surgery to drain, as well as a potentially life-threatening blood infection like sepsis. So he's in the hospital, and of course, this long stay, he says there, it's hard to make his bills, like rent, car payments, car insurance, and diabetic meds. Puts him in a situation where he's potentially facing the danger of losing everything if he can't get this covered. You get the kind of the gist of it. Maybe that you can see with the resolution on this, you could actually read it, go seek it out and find it. But he's asking for assistance. And, you need the ability to make your car payment, your rent payment. You got just the basic necessities of life, and to be laid up with a medical thing that just pops up. I couldn't imagine having a difficult situation like that, and to have to kind of put it out there to ask for assistance. I know that could be hard to do. But, when you get to a situation, you kind of have to do what you have to do to survive. And, so I donated, and then it sat there and said, do you want to share this on your social medias? I'm like, okay, I could, but I'm like, I've got an Instagram, but I don't have much of a following. I've got a Facebook page, but what I have is a YouTube channel with 7,500 followers. And what better opportunity or way could I possibly have to share and show this than by just making a video on it and just showing you so you can see it. And I'll have a link in the description, or you could just search them up. If you're a fan of 90s comics and the artists who put in all that kind of work for that fun and excitement that we've all had, it feels to me like there's a era right now going on, a little bit of a resurgence for the appreciation of 90s comics and that type of excitement, because modern stuff seems to be so boring. It's just so crazy how there's a lot of things that are kind of boring and not exciting for a long time, but there seems to be a little bit of a resurgence in a couple areas. And, to see an artist who put in tons of work and tons of time in that era and, brought a lot of joy to a lot of people. He's working for Extreme Studios. He worked on Evangeline like crazy. Like, the guy put in tons of work, and got to work for Mr. Liefeld, and got an awesome career. And it sounds like he had a lot of fun. But when a guy's having a hard time, why not? If you have the ability to help a guy out, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for him. And again, I haven't asked him. I hopefully he's okay with this. But again, I've got a channel, a little bit of a voice, and a lot of people kind of pay attention to the channel. And it's a lot of guys round about my age, and we all kind of like the same stuff. And again, I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I never did follow his work specifically in the 90s. I was aware of it, I saw it, saw in a couple issues, but it didn't quite gel with me on a creative interest level at the time, as you know, when I was in my early 20s when all this stuff was coming out. But that's irrelevant, because here's a guy years later and he needs some assistance, and I have a little bit of a voice. So if I can help point anybody in his direction, why not? You know, there's tough times for everybody, and there's a lot of people asking for assistance, and you know, it's kind of, how do you choose when and where and how to decide to help somebody? You know, I don't, you know, I don't know how many people see Mr. Stinsman here and have the visibility on him. Like, I think I saw, like I was mentioning how Steve Rude recently had a financial difficulty, and he did some kind of crowdfunder, and I think I saw he made something like $35,000, which, awesome, good for him. Like, it's nice to see that fans pull together and help him and support him and help get him back on track. If I saw, I know he was successful, it was in the 30K range, you know. What can I do besides try and help Mr. Stinsman, who, again, he reached out to me. He was very nice. We had a kind of a couple of brief conversations. Nice dude, and irrelevant of the fact that maybe I wasn't the biggest fan at the time of his work in the 90s. Here's a guy that needs help. So, you know, just to sum up, if you see this, if you can, you know, share it around, throw him a few bones, help the guy be able to make some, you know, make his bills while he's kind of suffering through this. And like I said, at his recommendation, you know, he had his own individual comic, Scarlet Crush. It only went like 2 issues at Awesome Entertainment before financing kind of collapsed and forced it to be folded up on him. He's talked about and then sharing recently that he's got a revitalization of his own creator-owned book of Scarlet Crush that he's working on. And when he gets it all finished up, he's going to be doing a crowdfunder on that. And I was telling him, I said, you know, now might be the best possible time. It seems to me like there's an audience out there for people who like 90s type stuff and seeing the original artist on an old creation. Let's revitalize it. Let's put it back out there. Let's make the work. Let's make our comics. That's what been one of my favorite phrases that ever since I started my channel was make your comics. I kind of was inspired when the kayfabe guys would say, read more comics, but I like to say, make your comics. We all got art and stories and things we like to share, and do it while you can, when you can. You know, who knows when you might not have the opportunity. So I'm really looking forward to Mr. Stinsman, getting better, getting out of the hospital. Hopefully he can get his bills taken care of. Hopefully this helps in some small fashion. And I'm looking forward to getting the books that I ordered, the old copies from late 90s. They're on their way. And when he gets his stuff together, when he's able to crowdfund a new version of it, I'm going to be right there backing that one, looking forward to it. But I guess that's all I've got for now. I hope this is okay, Mr. Stinsman. Just trying to help point people in your direction. You know, everyone could use a little bit of help. And if I can just make a frickin', what am I at, 13.5-minute long video, and if it points even one person your way, that's better than nothing. Hopefully that this will help out. So go support a guy, go give him a hand, and you know, we all support each other, and what more could we all ask for, right? So anyway, that's all I've got for this one. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening, and if you can, go give them some help, go donate, and that's all I've got for this one. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.